Hi, welcome everybody to another episode of Lost Like Mike. I'm your host, Mike Gonzalez, and it's been an eventful week. Quite a bit of shows, performances, and events going on that transpired this past week. The general theme that I was going for, I was thinking about, and I feel like I got there sort of organically. I'll explain what I mean by that. Today I went to church. I hadn't been to church in several weeks. And I was thinking about gratitude a lot. Recently I'd been thinking about a reaction to complaints that I felt about certain things going on. Not only the complaints that I was saying, but of, my wife or different people that I know saying negative things one way or the other about the things going on in their lives and the things that I was going through. And I was thinking about being blessed and feeling like that there are a lot of things that I have that, gifts that I have in my life that do come with a price in some instances, and do come with hard work, but that I should be grateful for those opportunities, grateful for the need to have to do the pain in the ass stuff that I have to do, because it comes along with those gifts, with those opportunities. And so when I go into church and they said, today, because of Thanksgiving, we're going, because Thanksgiving's this next coming week. They said, today we're going to talk about gratitude. And okay, I didn't make the connection, however naive that is, or however what that makes me. I didn't. I even did Thanksgiving-y kind of things this week, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But when I thought about the complaints and I thought about being blessed, I didn't think about, it wasn't like in my mind I was saying, hey, so when I'm sitting around the table on Thanksgiving and they ask me what I'm thankful for, I didn't make that connection. It wasn't about that. To me, it was like feeling like the things that I'm going through, or the emotions that I was feeling, like how to face them and flip them on it, instead of feeling like tired or overwhelmed. I could feel grateful. And then, so anyway, in that moment, I was sitting in church going, oh my God, I was just thinking about being grateful. But then the reality of it was, yeah, so is everybody else. It's like, it's Thanksgiving season. Like, you should be being thankful. This is the season where at least it's on the general, it's in the air that you should be feeling that gratitude. Anyway, but it was a good sermon of its own right, and we'll let that sort of be what it is. The idea that people have things in their lives with very little awareness of how easily it could be taken away from them. The fragility of the comforts that we are surround ourselves with, whether it be a home, food on our plates, our loved ones by our sides, it's just a few bad choices or unfortunate circumstances that could change the dynamic of our whole entire lives. And we don't, not to say that everybody, I mean, obviously I'm conflicted in trying to come to terms with it and figure it out on some level, right? I mean, so yeah, I mean, I'm sure maybe we're all sort of going through it. To be honest, we talk about the number of takes that it takes for me to get this thing started. Once I get going, it's all fine, well, and good. But, this is my second attempt to record this episode. But in the previous edition, where the first take, I did talk about, talked about a lot of things, but there was what I wanted to mention from the first round. Well, does that ever happen to you where like you're literally in the middle of the sentence talking about what you said, oh yeah, I'm going to talk about this. And then you're saying it out loud and then all of a sudden that, whatever that was, just disappears. That just happened right now. Because I was like, oh yeah, don't forget to talk about that. And I said, okay, cool. Let me just start talking about that then. Which that doesn't really say what I was talking about. It'll come back to me. We'll just keep going, and then when it comes back, I'll startle myself with the memory of it. I know that on the first take I got tangented really hard with the idea of alcoholism. Which, just saying that on its own sort of comes off like strange. But on Friday I performed. I talked about wanting to do a show, a live stream. It was going to be a Facebook Live or YouTube Live. It was just going to be a live performance where friends just come over and we play songs. Not super over rehearsed or contrived. It's just this is what we look like when we're just hanging out, talking, and playing some songs. That's the dream. That's what I want. But so my cousin was like, "Hey, let's do one. We'll set up at the studio and we'll perform some songs, see how it goes." And a thing happened where I tell my cousin, we did this one private show and I bought a little bottle of whiskey, and I said, I'm proud of myself for buying this little bottle, because if it's whatever I buy, I know that I'm going to drink it. I'm going to finish it. It's one of the reasons why I don't allow alcohol in my house. I can't have alcohol in my house. I'm a binge drinker. If it's there, I'll drink it. And part of with anything is you have to know yourself and know how you are with certain things. And if you know that you do something, then you should take whatever steps to avoid that happening, right? On Friday, I bought a slightly bigger, bottle. And anyway, I think it partially has to do with the fact that I don't socialize regularly. I do this where I'm talking to y'all. I don't go out with friends. I don't. I drink when I perform, and I've kind of trained my mind to think that way. And so once I start having a good time, once I feel like I overindulge and I just go for it. I'm just there. But there's like a phenomena that happens. I don't know if this has ever happened to you. Let's talk about it. We'll figure it out. But that's what it was. On the top of the last show, I told you it's going to come to me in the middle of whatever I'm talking about. When I was trying to start the show, I said the following: that this show is me expressing myself through stories and through ideas and conversation with myself, where I just talk. And the symbiotic part is that, either through people that listen to the show and talk to me in person, or if you message me at lostlikemike@gmail.com, or if you comment, I get to feel tethered to the universe, and I feel connections, and I see that the things that I go through, that other people go through them as well. It's not rocket science. I mean, I sometimes it's entertaining, sometimes it's entertaining just to me. But whatever it is, it's therapeutic at the core of it. And I try, as always, as people do, to be as honest as possible. And I'll share things as much as I possibly can. Oftentimes I don't share the names to protect the innocent, but I do try to let you know what's going on. But I feel like every now and then I have to talk about that, what the show is about, because I feel like people might tune in and be like, why is this guy just, what is the purpose of this podcast? Like, it doesn't have, I don't have guests, or, there's like the commercial that talks about how there's a podcast about everything. Like, there's a podcast, and there's a guy who knows what you like tea? Oh, there's a podcast about it. So if, they categorize this podcast under comedy, which I don't know if that, offends me or if it makes me happy. I don't know. To me, it's just, it's a bit of sharing. And so take it with a grain of salt when I share the following. But, sometimes when I perform with my cousin, he doesn't drink anything at all, and I'll kind of see that there's a bit of judging eyes, and sort of I get this feel like, he'll make a comment or two about, like, not, like, kind of trying to keep me from saying something too embarrassing on the microphone. Because I get very chatty and I start to interact with the audience, and look, you can make an argument about inhibitions and say that the drinking sort of lets your guard down a little bit and makes you a little bit more free with the things that come out of your mouth. I mean, musicians, artists have done it for years, using chemicals to sort of tap into an uninhibited subconscious that produces great art or works of writing or fill in the blank. But I always argued that if you just would get out of your own head, like, it's harder, but it could be done without drugs. But I will say that I do get pretty, chatty. But at the same time, some nights he's down to just, he's there and he's having his drink, and he's like, woo, free, right? Or freer or whatever. And he gets on the mic and he's chatty. And sometimes I'll look at him and be like, is that what it's like? Like, he's on a different plane than I am. And sometimes I'm on a different plane. The reason I bring it up is because on that Friday, I started to feel really good. The show was done. We were just hanging out. I was socializing for the first time in probably a while. And I felt that I was on one plane and everybody that was there was not. They were on a different. I love them all, my friends, my family, my extended family. Don't get me wrong when I say it. I'm just saying that it's hard when you feel like not judged. I just mean like, and the reason why I say is like, they would say stuff like, well, maybe he needs some smoke or something to like chill him out or whatever. Things like that. And it's like, or like, but in my mind, I was just like, if I feel good and I'm laughing and like, I don't understand. But all it is that they're on a different wave, and I don't do anything other than drink really. So, and that's to say that I don't drink any other, really. I mean, 90% of the time it's just at a show, But I woke up on Saturday and I wasn't hungover. As a matter of fact, I did yard work for several hours when I woke up. Not as punishment or anything. I knew I had to get it done, but I sweat until I was like super tired and just beat it out of me. But I wasn't hungover or anything. I just, all I kept thinking about was just, I don't get to socialize. That's probably why. I mean, people at that time, that's where my mind was at. Anyway, early in the week, they had said that I was going to be a part of asked if I'd come out to a bachelor party. And you say the words bachelor party and there's images of debauchery and, hangover movies and, I don't know, strippers and drugs and drinking and kind of like letting loose one last time kind of. And so I'd never been to a bachelor party, to be honest. Not that I remember. I mean, my 20s were pretty much a blur, but certainly never had one. And all the times that I've been married, I didn't have one. So, but my wife expressed a bit of concern for me going to a bachelor party. For that same reason, I mean, I guess most people have a preconceived notion of what a bachelor party would look like or what it's going to end up being. So, and plus, here's the thing, like, if my cousin was to say, like, that he wanted me to go out with him and we're going to have a couple drinks, I would know what that looked like. I would know the expectation, the speed at which we're going to have the drinks, where we're going to be at, how it's going to go down. I'd have a pretty good mental idea about it. These friends that had invited me to the bachelor party, something inside me said that I really needed to do it. that it was a good idea to do and that I needed to do it. However, we don't go out and in a sort of in that capacity all the time. So I had no point of reference to say, how the drinking was going to look or the socialization. Like, for example, were they going to have like shots after shots after shots and like, it's a bachelor party, so let's go, another shot, another round of shots. I didn't know. I didn't know if that was what it was going to look like. And what I would look like in that context. Like I said, I know myself to be a binge drinker. I'm performing at a show. I'll sit there with my little 2 ounces of Jack Daniel's neat and sip on that through an hour and a half while drinking a gallon of water, in a medicinal sense so that I can clear my throat. But once I hit a certain point, God forbid, if people start buying me drinks, then next thing you know, I'm in trouble, But so anyway, there was some anxiety regarding going to this, but I knew I was going to go and that it would be the best idea. But I decided that on Saturday I wasn't going to drink at my show, just in case, things got a little buck wild at this bachelor party, that I wouldn't already be, what is this expression, 2 sheets to the wind or whatever. I didn't want to show up having like my amount of Jack Daniels in my system and then, drinking more. So I said, okay. So I performed on Saturday, stone sober, with just a crap ton of water. I just drank a ton of water. And my voice, thank God, whatever, was spot on. It was good. I could sing. So much so that my cousin was like, see, you don't need all that stuff. And it's like, I get it, but, Sorry, I have to drink a ton of water. Anyway, that being said, what I did realize was that even in the complaining, I have friends and family that I can make music with, that I love, and that I appreciate their company, and that look out for, that care enough to say something. One of my cousins was like making sure that I got home safe and all that kind of stuff. Even though we hung out until everybody was, kind of had their faculties about them and were, sobered up, I mean, it's funny that you say that way, because one cousin lived across the street and another one was Ubering, and everyone was just going to chill there, So, but, I was really touched that even came up as a subject to, that my well-being would be of anybody's concern. Anyway, but everybody bailed. No, it's bailed. They couldn't make it to this. Everybody that I normally would be in a drinking situation with couldn't make it to the bachelor party. So I was going by myself to all these friends were getting together at their house. And I didn't know if there was going to be food there, so I was like, well, should I eat before I get there? And so I opted not to eat, because I thought, well, maybe they're going to be having like, I don't know, pizza or something. I don't know what a bachelor party looks like, so just, give me a break. But so I went to this bachelor party, and I knew my friends the groom to be, and and some of the other folks. I was introduced to some other guys. There was a lot of guys at this house, and they were playing, doing different things. Here's the thing. I won't get into too much of, but just to say that it was really cool, man. I mean, I had a few cocktails, and we played poker. Kind of hung out with a cigar. I didn't really smoke it, but it a lot of fun. It was everything that a bachelor party should be. You know what I mean? Where I should have thought of having one like that. It was just a lot of really great friends, and you could tell that these friends of the groom to be really cared about him and wanted him to have fun and not want to mess up his life or do anything like detrimental that was going to screw him up. They just wanted to make sure he had a kick-ass time, and that he was, and I don't know. I will say one thing. There was a you stream on these, you swipe on these TikToks and these different Facebook posts and these different things. I don't even know where I read it, saw it. We're inundated with information 100 different places. But there was one message where this guy was saying how call your best friend, call somebody that is your true friend in the middle of the night, because they'll take your call, and tell them, and then the message went on and on about like how that your true friend is, and I'm so jealous of that idea. Like, I have family, I have extended family that I love very much, but I don't think, like, I don't know that I have that, not the way this guy was describing it, because he said like everybody has that, but I am grateful for the people I do have in my life, the friends and family that I do have in my life. It doesn't have to be a storybook or picturesque. It can just be what it is. And you can be grateful for that, because even that is not promised to you. And perhaps you could lose that as well. And that's, I guess, the lesson in that. But that night, it was too much fun, I mean, I knocked off, played video games, poker, different things, whatever. It was so much fun. I don't even know what fun looks like, but that was a lot of fun to me. I mean, and I know there's people listening to this going, I mean, that's a Tuesday night for me. We do all kind of fun stuff all the time. I don't, I work, I perform, and that's about it. Rinse and repeat, that's not always me. I have fun in my own ways, I guess, but I'm just saying that sort of camaraderie. Is that how you say that word? Somebody. That's a great word if it is a word. Camaraderie. Anyway, you hear about those things. It's typically a very they paint it out to be a very gender specific thing, like it's hanging out with the boys or girls' night out or whatever. But it's really just I mean, having a social circle of people that you do shit with, like it's just, and I wonder what that, like you hear it, you see it on different things, but you know, we talked about this early in the shows of knowing what kind of friend I am, and I'm not very good at setting up social situations. I mean, I'd probably be the last one to call up and be like, hey, want to get together and whatever. I'm not super great at it. But, you know, I was surprised. I was very, like, you would think it just wasn't what I expected in all of the best ways. It was everything I didn't know I needed to do that night. I mean, there were friends out back barbecuing. Everybody had a smile on their face. And there was like, he had dedicated people that were like being like bartenders and like dedicated people like cooking. And one guy says, and I swear to God, he said this, he said, I'm just, you know, I just want to meet some of his other friends and get to know some of his friends. And it was so, it's like, I was like, you know, what's up, man? Like, I overheard it. I was like, well, I'm Mike. How you doing, brother? Like, it's good to meet you. And then this other guy was like, I know this guy, this guy. I don't know you. And some other guy, like, made some jokes about how I look like this one celebrity guy. And we all laughed about it. But it was everything that I didn't know I needed. It was very cool. And I would absolutely do it again. But also I won at poker. I won the whole bloody thing. I was so impressed with myself. I'd only played in a big poker tournament one time before, and I was in such a rush to get out of there. I was like, ugh, I bet it all, and I lost it all. But this time I was like reading people, and I was patient. I didn't care about, I would give away hands and say, you could keep that money. I'm not betting on that, whatever. And you know, I took chances. It was a lot of fun, man. I would totally do that again. I mean, I probably do. Who knows if I have those type of friends? I wouldn't know because I've never done it. But I'd have a poker night, right? I want a jam night. Let's have a jam night. Okay, enough about all that. Oh, man. I was having a conversation with my wife, and I realized this was a good life lesson. She walked up to me and she said, she slumped her shoulders and she made her face, and she had an outfit that she was going to wear to church, right? She does this on occasion. She'll come out and I'll be getting dressed or finishing exercising in the morning or whatever it is, and she'll come around the corner and say, how do I look? What do you think? I'm thinking of wearing this today. But she always does the same thing where she comes around the corner and she slumps her shoulders and she says, how do I look? And she'll make like a sad face. But, okay, so I'm going to step out of this for a second, like I did in this instance. Because here's the thing. I think that the mind works faster. The mouth can work faster than the mind. And at times I want to say something that's occurring in my mind, right? But the trick is you have to figure out your rate of latency. Okay? This is some heavy stuff, so follow along. uh, Picture latency as you hear it on on recording, how fast the information comes from the input and gets interpreted, right? Like they call it latency in recording. So like say I'm playing a song that and I have a track that I'm recording to. All right, I don't want to overcomplicate it, but the idea is that you need to take a second or two, because you'll hear the first part of a thought and then your mouth already can articulate that right away. I mean, the speed of sound, baby. I mean, just words will come out of your mouth. And it's like a tale of two ways of saying something. Like it's one of those books where you say, all right, if you want to say something and put your foot in your mouth, go to page 15. If you want to stop and think for a minute and decide whether or not it's prudent to say that, go to page 25. I had that moment this morning. My wife comes around the corner and says, how do I look? And I said, give me a second. Just give me a second. And because what wanted to come out of my mouth was, you look like every before picture ever. But something stopped me from saying that, stopped my mouth and said, take a second. What are you talking about? You're going to need to unpack that shit first. Because if you just say that, I can't promise that this is going to end well. So I stopped and I said, well, how am I? I said, okay, honey, I said, I love you. Let me preface this by saying that you look great. That outfit is it's fantastic. Okay? But I have to tell you, and I said, look, every time you come out and ask me what you look like, you do what they do in every before picture that's ever been taken. You slump your shoulders, you look sad, and you present yourself a certain way. Like, you look so miserable to be asking me how you look. And she laughed a little bit. See, I said, what I wanted to tell you was, honey, you look like every before picture ever taken. And she did the little gaping mouth thing where she's like, trying to come off like she would have been offended. But it's so true. If you ever go to any diet pill, any workout video, or look at the before picture and the after picture, not the body, but I'm saying, like, look at the overall, like, I want to say, I'm losing the word that I wanted to say, but look at their, oh my God, what's the word? The body language, cheese and crackers. Look at their body language. Look at always on the before picture, they never have a smile. They look sad to be there. Their shoulders are slumped. Their posture's bad. And they have an overall look of being miserable, because if you take the pills or do the workout or whatever it is, it translates into a happier you, right? That's what they're wanting to portray. But that's as easy as you can walk off that cliff, or you could take a minute and, it's just an example of the fruit of thinking before you speaking. Plus, on a side note, I'm telling you, confidence is, 90%. I mean, just crucial. I've been married for I don't know how many years, but if I could gift her anything, it would be it's like, own that you look good, own that you feel good. And if you don't, you almost have to fake it till you make it. Like, this is what you got, and go from, you know what I mean? Like, obviously I have to own that, because it takes a certain amount to post this video, right? Or potentially one person can watch it, or potentially the world could watch it. I mean, and even if it's not groundbreaking, I still have to put it out with the confidence that to have the confidence to put it out. And it's so hard, I try not to ask how I look, because I think if I feel good, then it should be enough. It's not as easy as it sounds. But anyway, that was our exchange, and that's what that happened today. I can't tell you the number of times that I spoke before I thought, and told her whatever. But you always have to, you have to say it right away, though. I'll tell you, there's been certain instances where I'll just go silent, and she'll just turn and walk and say, "It took you too long." Obviously, I look like garbage. And so I've learned to say, "Hold on, before I speak, let me just say," and I'll pay her a compliment. Because if you don't, then she thinks that's some sort of like silent message of disgust. I'll tell you, I got to go to my daughter's turkey trot on this Thursday. I'll tell you what, I've never heard of turkey trot before my daughter started at this school. I mean, field days, that kind of stuff. But people have heard of turkey trots. Apparently it's like this, you get all the kids, some of them dressed up like turkeys, and they just run laps around the football field or soccer field, whatever that is. Run and walk, and they do it for an hour. And I've done it over the years. I was actually a little nervous about doing it this year, because last year when I did it, I followed up by doing a 5K, and then my knees were shot for like months. But this is one of the closest things that I could say is a hardcore tradition. I haven't missed one of her turkey trots. I'm one of very few parents that will run and walk with her on pace until it's done. Because my daughter has her hip dysplasia, she's not supposed to run the whole time. But she's got heart, man. Like, we ran and walked over 3 miles, and I feel great. I mean, it was like no problem. But as a matter of fact, I did that, and then I went to go perform that night, on that Thursday night, which could have contributed to, because I woke up for that Friday show, I had to wake up early, like 6 a.m, and then turn around, come home, change, grab some dinner, which was a sandwich and chips from a gas station, and to go out and do this live performance, live stream. And so that could have affected that too. But the show was actually pretty great. So the idea is I'm playing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And then I'll have off 2 days, 3 days, right? Tuesday, Wednesday, 2 days. And then I'll be back Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for another round of shows. Which is good. I should be grateful for the opportunity to sing, to have shows, you know. I am thankful. And I guess, you know, I've been doing really well. I've been rowing every morning and doing some exercises, and ultimately I've been thinking a lot about it. Maybe, I don't know. I have to find a way to either switch to a Friday, Saturday, Sunday show format and every other Monday. I don't know. The weekday shows are rough, and I think I'm gonna, you know, have to come to a point where either I switch days or something. It's too much. This one man came up and said that we should be performing. He says we deal with tourists all the time, and he was saying how we should get out and play these casinos and he has some hookups to try to get us to play on Fridays, but he wants us to travel. Like, I'm like, can we just do like something in the neighborhood? Is there a casino close by? But anyway, just when I want to start doing something on that Friday, right? Anyway, I'm very thankful for this opportunity to record this show and to talk and to get these things out of my mind and off my chest. And I can tell you, we've been doing this for over 70 shows, and I feel a lot better than I did prior to doing these shows. It has been something that to me has been very beneficial. I only wanted to grow and to be better at doing these things. But I'm thankful for the opportunity to get these things off my chest. And so thank you for subscribing. Thank you for hanging out, to coming by and listening for a little bit, even if it's just a little baby bit. I'm gonna I mean to approach some friends of mine. You know who you are. I'm gonna talk to you during the off time. See if you'd be interested in editing some of these shows down to clips, and I'll pay you to do that. I'm always so busy, but so if you hear this, hit me up. I'll talk to you about it. But anyway, I hope you all are thankful for the things you have in your lives, and continue to have blessings in the next year. And I will talk to you next time. See you again.